right, man. Real quick video, man. If she doesn't want to have kids, don't get married. Um, excuse me. It's no point. It's no point of getting married if she doesn't want to have children. That's the point of marriage. Marriage is built on family. They try to tell people, and this is where they sell to women and why women tend to fail in marriage because it's sold as love. Marriage is not love. It's religious before it's or spiritual religious before it's it has to do about love. Um and I just think, they just, some people, for the most part, um, a lot of women think it's about love and all that, and it's not about love. Um, Honestly, it's not. It's not. Uh, it's really about continuing legacy, nuclear family. That's what religion. That's what marriage is built on. It's about family. It's about two families coming together to make the bloodline stronger. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And if you think it's about something else than that, then it makes no sense. The woman purpose is to procreate. One of her main purposes is to procreate. And when they, that's why a lot of times, a lot of guys to be attracted to single or single mothers or mothers in general is because you see the feminine side of the woman, how she is with children, her patience. This the feminine. A lot of women only give off femininity when it come to their children, if that, especially today. So if they not showing, if they are saying they don't want to be a mother, they're already disqualified from marriage. They should really be disqualified from anything serious, to be honest with you. That just lets you know a lot of it is selfish. Now you got some women that's scared to bear childbirth, that they gonna pass away. It's a lot of fishy shit going on, and that's just a conversation that you can have. But no way, short form, and fashion should you lock yourself into a monogamous relationship with a woman and she don't want to have children. Hate to tell you that, fam. What are you really gaining if she can't give you children? You got to think about that for a minute. If she don't want to give you children, what do you have to gain? Now, if she breaking bread and she spending bread and it's beneficial to you, then cool. But if you just saying, oh, she looks nice and she look good and all this type of stuff, and that's why I'm gonna keep her on because she look good or the box good. Trust and believe me, it's a whole bunch of other women that can deliver that. If you can do it one time, you can do it two times. And most of y'all don't have those unique situations. Most people don't have those unique situations like that, where you have those situations where, y'all together and you benefiting from it. Most guys don't benefit from cohabitating or don't benefit from being with a woman. What do you benefit? If it's not going to be about marriage, if it's not going to be about having children, if it's, what do you benefit from? Because most of the times, if you have a job as a man and you know how to manage your money, you know how to cook, clean, and manage your money, you don't need two income or another woman income. The only reason why guys need to make more income usually is because you have women and children, you have family. But if it's just you can survive. Now you might get into the case where people say, well, somebody can take care of you when you get old. That's not even guaranteed with women and children. But we just talking about the women part. That's not even guaranteed. I've seen a lot of women split on their man like a banana split when he got sick and left and took everything. I heard a bunch of stories about that. He on his sick bed and she already on another pogo stick. She cleaned him out. She took him for everything. You know what I mean? So it's just really no point, especially for the brothers that's locking in monogamously, and that's y'all agreement. There's no point of being monogamous if there's no children, or there's no children coming, or some type of long-term agreement that includes children, which you don't have to get married with the government. You can legit get married with your own contract, or y'all can come to a long term agreement. But if you gonna take care of this woman, she got to give you the only gift that really's been usually beneficial to you is children. The think about it for a minute. What else do you get from women when you lock into a relationship? You know why God sent all that pussy your way and you gotta turn it down, or you supposed to turn it down, you got a girl? Why? Why are you supposed to turn it down? If you don't have no children, you don't plan on marrying this woman, you don't plan on she don't plan on giving you no children or nothing like that. Why are you locking in monogamously? A lot of guys agree to it because they don't want to lose the access to the woman. It's the same thing where a lot of women ask, like, why do guys keep women that they don't want to marry? Convenience. You're convenient. You're familiar. Guys are lazy. They like to go with convenient and familiar. Right now, if most men, they wanted to, say, oh, I need some sex right now. They don't want to trick. What's they gonna do? They're gonna go in their phone book, go in their phone and find something familiar. It ain't too many dudes that's really got the goal, especially in this generation, to go out to the bar or go out there and get a chick off GP, off game. Not many guys gonna do it. So a lot of these dudes, they lock in monogamously because they don't understand. They don't really don't be monogamous with a woman if you're not planning on having a family with her. That's just the honest truth. Now, if you still trying to figure that out, if you want to be a family and all that with her, I get it. You still kind of trying to, figure that out. Yeah, okay, be monogamous in that period. But once you find out this ain't it for you, keep it moving. But a lot of dudes with women is because they financially surviving. And then for two, if you need a woman to financially survive, really you ain't in the position to go cheat neither. You really not. You in a position to get more money. Because what women do is women already know I can go sleep on somebody's couch. I can go to a women's shelter, get on the Section 8 list. You can't do that. Once I'm gone, when women get leverage over you, you see how they act. They see how you act. So the thing about it is this. I mean, if she can't have children, then that's another conversation y'all need to have. Adopting or something like that, or you can't bear. That's another. I'm not talking about those exceptions like that, but that's the truth. If it ain't about family, if it ain't some legal matter where y'all don't want to testify, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it because you love her. Or, nah, don't do it. You run into a woman, got her tubes tied, or she don't want to have your child, or she don't want to have kids. It's like no monogamy. Don't give it to her. If she don't want to fuck with you, then cool. It is what it is. Guess what? It's, let me see what the ratio of men to women is in this country. So it's 97 to 98 men for every 100 women. So while more boys are born, women live longer. Okay, I don't. So they kind of saying this split 60, 51 females. So that's in the US, in the USA. I don't know if that's true. I feel like the split is more than that. They say it's damn near 1-to-1. But then again, whatever. I don't believe that to be true. Let me see. Yeah, it's about 1-to-1 in the world. In the world, that's what they say. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. But if it's true, there's still more options in the sea. Still, you're always gonna have more options. You still gonna have more options. So my whole thing is, you don't have to lock in with one person. And if you don't want children as a man, don't sell monogamy. Let me say that too. Don't just be like, oh, nah. But people change, people opinions change, and sometimes with certain women, they don't want to have a child with you. And I said this the other day. Most women feel like, well, I haven't posted the video. I haven't finished you know all the stuff with the video, but most women, have babies with guys that they feel superior in. That's true. It's women who sleep with guys for 10, 20 years and never had a baby. They like the sex, but they see the guys less than them. Women like to deal with men that they think is better than them. Right? Then you do have some women that will deal with guys that they are better than, but they just want to control them. They want to dominate them. So you kind of got a two, you got different women. Obviously, they're not all the same monolith, but you got some women that want to control a man, dominate a man. You have those type of women. You know what I'm saying? But then most women, if they have it their way, they want a man that's better than them. When you see these, especially as they get older, when you see these, when they young, they is love. And the first couple boyfriends they have is love. But most women, as they go older than 25, it's about they want somebody better than them. Don't forget that. They want a guy that's better than them. Therefore, I said this, and you'll see it. This is an abortion video I did. I see it at some point. And I said in the video, women that constantly throw a dude baby away or not get pregnant by a guy, but a guy that's worth $1 billion, knock her up, she keeping it. And that's the biggest thing that's one of the biggest things I don't hear a lot of guys talk about, or a lot of people on this internet, they talking points. They talking about the birth rates going into they are in extinction and going deeper and deeper in most developed countries, but they're not really really putting the dots together. Because when you start talking about, sex and guys are going sexless, more younger guys, that's because the women think they're better than the guys. Even though it's a bitch at AutoZone, or it's a chick that's a shot girl, it's a chick that on OnlyFans that don't make the same money as a guy working at McDonald's, but she feel like, even though she's selling pussy, she feel like I'm better than him because he work at McDonald's. Most of the women today feel like they better than the men, and they're not. Even though the world is set up for them to be more successful than the average young boy, the education system is set up for them to be better. The world is set up for them to be better. Everything is set up for them to be better. It's not a patriarchy no more. They keep saying that, or it's not as a strong patriarchy. That's why children ain't being born no more. Women are more, always been, they selfish, but they feel like they're better than the guys. Even though they're still sleeping with guys that they know, they still sleep with guys they better than, they just not gonna have a child. Everything they do is about money now, So, but in general, if there's no children involved, bro, they don't know, bro. Like, it's just keep it moving. She doesn't. What are you locking in monogamy for? Don't be like a bitch and think you can get the bitch to change her mind. It don't work that way. When she say what she say, you gotta hold her to that, feet to the fire. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon.